Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining me for another video. As always, a free way to support the channel is to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment in the comment section. Thank you again for the many patrons helping to support my cause. There is a dollar amount where I'm going to pay $800 a month in Glassnode analysis. That's between my ad revenue and any revenue that I make. I have a goal that I'm setting, and as soon as I hit that goal, I will be spending $800 a month on Glassnode data that will be of benefit to everyone watching this channel. So any way that you could support, help get to that goal, I would greatly appreciate it. But let's go ahead and dive right on into this. Don't be fooled by all the green on the screen. I mean, it's nice to see green on the screen, except for Internet Computer, which is trash. Stay away from Internet Computer. I've been saying that for weeks now. Sure, I like what they do, but they open as the number 4 crypto in the world. There's only one way to go from here, and it's down. In other news, Cardano is now number 3 by market cap, so that's very interesting to see. That doesn't get me excited about Cardano. I'll be entirely honest with you, but it's interesting to see. So we'll see. You know, they have a lot of things that they say are in the pipeline. I'm going to be more of a wait and see type person, but Bitcoin, all eyes are on Bitcoin as always right now, and Bitcoin does seem to be bouncing back. It's nice to see. We didn't go to 20 to 25K as that one person who I called out on TikTok predicted. And, you know, he's changed his tune. Now he's saying that some kind of FUD needs to happen for Bitcoin to go to 20 to 25K. And it's one of these things like, duh, thanks for saying nothing. And I hate to say this, but for the time being, you've just got to be done with Pablo He-Man. Every video that I've seen of his lately, I've come to realize that he has a thing, which is that he takes information from other people, other sources, and makes it his own. And then when he's right, he acts like he's from the future. And he's not. He's been wrong a lot over the last 2 weeks. He had that one amazing call that he stole from the 4chan guy, and he just kept riding with that. It's like the amount of stock that people are putting into him. I regret recommending him, honestly. The amount of stock that people have put into him, he's a one-trick pony. I hate to say it like that. He's not all that, but he has his thing. He takes information that other people say, and then he repurposes it as his own. There's better sources out there, including one who kind of annoyed me, who I'll talk about later, Benjamin Cohen. I really like him. I would recommend checking him out, but I'll talk about something that he did this weekend that kind of bothered me. But Bitcoin accumulation, I will subscribe later. Bitcoin accumulation uptrend can create a 2013 style Bitcoin price double pump. This is what I have been saying. I am seeing more and more things that to me indicate that we are building this kind of base that is forming a bit of an impenetrable line for future price action. And so I'll show you some charts to talk about to examine what I'm talking about. But long term, here we go. Long term Bitcoin holders remain unfazed by the recent sell off, but there is one alarming sign. A recent rundown in Bitcoin's price from 65,000 to as low as 30,000 did not force long term holders into selling, Glassnode data shows. And I'll take a look at that Glassnode data in a second. The on chain analytics platform revealed a spike in Bitcoin reserves held in wallet with lower unspent output, just as Bitcoin USD's bids were crashing. Meanwhile, the data also shows that a Bitcoin collecting spree among miners, that's always a bullish sign, the entities that produce and supply newly minted cryptocurrencies for retail markets. As a result, the active Bitcoin supply started declining in recent sessions. So miners are holding, long-term holders are holding, the amount of Bitcoin available on exchanges is decreasing. But there are short-term holders. Short-term holders, the entities that hold the flagship cryptocurrency for less than a week after accumulating it, were the biggest sellers. It's always going to be the case. And Glassnode data suggested that newer market entrants panic sold Bitcoin during the May downturn. Not surprising. Bitcoin volatility continues to exploit short-term traders with double-digit percentage up and down moves, etc., etc. Here is the one Catch, Glassnode anticipated that long-term holders realize their profits or losses at some point in time. The analytics portal cited a proprietary metric that checks on long-term holders' exhausting levels, the point at which their ability to hold Bitcoin breaks, and which prompts them to realize their profits or losses in markets. So that has happened. That happened twice in 2013. It happened once in 2018. The reason why it only happened once in 2018 was because there was no major sell-off. There was nothing like what we've experienced over the last month or so. And so what's going to happen this time around, I am quite convinced that it's going to be like 2013, that we had this long period where it just felt like it was going to stay in the 50s forever. And then now we're back in the 30s, and then we should, again, go over $100,000. And unfortunately, some of those long-term holders will take profits. I mean, that's just how it is. It's not going to stay like, people aren't going to be holding forever. There are some people who literally will hold forever. They are the exception, but not the rule. But, like I'm saying, in the 30s, let me go to maybe a 1-hour chart. In the 30s, I'll do 6 hours. How about that? We have seen this trend sideways. We saw this up at the 50s, but that was a bad thing because we saw this sharp increase to the 50s, hitting even the 60s. Now we're in the 30s, and we're doing something very similar where we're building, instead of facing resistance, we're facing support. We're building support for a leg upwards. I think that is going to be a slow and steady climb, but once we break through that all-time high of about $64,000, it should accelerate. I have been pretty clear about that. And so we see the Glassnode analysis here. In the last month, long-term holders have added 221,598 Bitcoin to their holdings. That's and all right, note some of this is short-term holders aging into the long-term cohort. I mean, they become long-term holders, and they're adding. So long-term holders, the smart money, the whales, whoever you want to call it, they are adding to their positions. The short-term holders, on the other hand, they've offset it by reducing their holdings by 256,000 Bitcoin, which is what has led to the price action going down. So again, 221,000 added to long-term holdings, 256,000 reduced from short-term holdings, where we have seen a decrease in these holdings. But short-term holders don't have all that much more downward momentum to go, whereas long-term holders looks like they have a lot more that they could add to their position. And so, again, a base is being formed here. Now, I did mention Benjamin Cohen. He tweeted something that kind of annoyed me, but I thought about it, and honestly, it sounds like we're saying the same thing. So let me read this tweet. My guess is that Bitcoin is bearish for months with occasional rallies, like 2019, but with nothing substantial enough to put in it a new all-time high. He made many, many clarifications after this. He still believes we're going to 100 to 200,000 this cycle. He doesn't believe that we're going to see a 3-year bear market, kind of like when the bull run was over in 2017. We didn't really see any major price action until 2020. He doesn't believe that. But then he says those who claim Bitcoin is still in a bull market are in denial. We need a consolidation for a while before we move to 100K, not a V-shaped recovery. I am saying the same thing. I'm saying a U-shaped recovery. I'm not saying a V-shaped recovery. I was just kind of bothered by this right here. Those who claim Bitcoin is still in a bull market are in denial. And it's just a question of, how do you define a bull market? How do you define one? I could still say we're in a U-shaped recovery and say we are still in a bull market. His definition of what a bull market is different. He defines it, if you look up any recent videos of his, which, listen, I definitely recommend Benjamin Cohen. I think his analysis is spot on. He says that he defines a bull market as being over certain points of support and not crossing over those, but anytime we reach those levels of support, we bounce off that. For instance, the 21 weekly EMA, the 200-day moving average, things like that. We have gone under those things, and now we are facing the possibility of moving up to those points and hitting them as resistance. You know me, that I am more of a metrics guy and not as much of a technical analysis guy. I hate the fact that you would not consider all of this FUD that has been brought into the picture by Elon Musk and by China, and then declare that we are in a bear market. But what is a bear market by this definition? He would probably define it as something like another 3 to 6 months of a mini bear market before an upward move. It's all semantics. So the reason why I'm saying this is I've recommended Benjamin Cohen before. And if you're following him, don't be thrown off by stuff like this. We're on the same page, okay? We are on the same page. It's going to be a while. So just be patient. For those of you who have a good income, now is a great time to be adding to your portfolio, to be stacking sats. So I definitely recommend that. And especially, I mean, it's more risky for altcoins, but if 30,000 is the bottom, then altcoins are at a great buying position right now. So as always, I don't know if I'm saying as always here, but stack those sats, keep building your portfolio. You will build a great deal of wealth. And in the end, you will have looked back at this time as a wonderful buying opportunity. So don't be shaken by any scariness, anything's going on. Now is a great time to accumulate. Have a great rest of your week. I will be on the road tomorrow driving to Wisconsin, so I won't be making a video tomorrow, but I will be back on Wednesday. Have a good one. Peace.